I'm Carlos Brandt. I'm here to show you the work that we did with as a processing node, so to say, based on Jupyter Hub, and the reason why we did that, and probably more importantly, how you can profit from that. So we start, so this is the roadmap. We'll briefly talk about what is this thing, Jupyter, assuming that not everybody knows about that, why and what is a planetary data science environment, and what do we have on at GMAP. So this, those slides are let's say the summary, the keywords of this document here that you find in our GitHub account of the Europlanet GMAP Winter School. You go here to GMAP tools, and you will have the document where I everything that I'm talking here, it's written there, or you simply click here and get in there. Yeah, so Jupyter, for those that are not familiar with, Jupyter is this high-level platform, web-based software for interactive processing through coding. So basically, it's a Python environment where you can do your coding and document along your code. It comes from the idea of data story or data storytelling, where you walk through your reader the processing steps that you did, and what are you doing, why are you doing, and so on and so forth. So it's a high-level interface for coding, so to say. The reason why that is important is effectively because coding became so, with data science, coding became so widespread that, but at the same time, not understandable for many people, that storytelling along the coding became a hot topic. So basically, this Jupyter thing, it looks like that. We have, when we talk about Jupyter, there are three suffixes that people use, either the notebook, the lab, or the hub. What are those things? Basically, the notebook is an older interface, like this one that I'm showing here. The lab is the current version, where you have much more resources. And the hub, which is what we have here at GMAP, it manages notebook environments, right? And then here's a jargon. When you talk about notebooks, nowadays, when you talk about data science and notebooks, you are referring to these documents. Giacomo will effectively show you in greater details how this thing goes along. And if I have time, I will also get in there with one or two examples. So the planetary data science environment, why we did that? So basically, it's because this can be very cumbersome to set up a data environment for processing planetary data. Right? If you are not interested in as you have been seeing already since day one, the QGIS is a excellent option if you're not into programming. So QGIS is super powerful, has lots of resources, or virtually every resource that you do to do your planetary data processing and analysis and exploration and all that stuff. But if you need some programmatic, some lower level power, so to say, then we have to go to command line and maybe some programming language like Python. And this is all about, again, Jupyter. For example, Giacomo, that is going to talk to you in a few minutes, he's doing machine learning, so QGIS does not fit all of his work. So we need some lower level interface. It may be known, probably it's known for all of you, the GDAL library, and then when you, for spatial data processing, and then when we get into planetary data processing, we need a couple of toolboxes that knows about the telescopes and, so to say, Martian and moon data, and those are the ISIS, for instance, and the ASP, the stereo pipeline, which are also command line tools. And then on top of that, for modern data processing, we have Python and all the GIS libraries. So, but setting up this environment here, GDAL, ISIS, and the Python on top of that, and make all those things work together is not a, it's not actually exactly a straightforward work. So how do we provide that for the GMAP community? Well, first of all, for ourselves doing the data analysis, and then when we realize that this is a painful job, how we can help our colleagues. And then there is where we came with the Docker containers, first of all, to encapsulate ISIS and GDAL and all those Python libraries. So we encapsulate that on Docker containers, and then we decided to put that on a service for our community. Basically, this is the setup here. This may seem complicated, but just to say that the whole interface is managing, the Jupyter Hub is managing a set of containers that we have everything that you need to do your data analysis, planetary data analysis. The Jupyter Hub, as I said, is a manager, is all this thing here that not necessarily you care about. If you are not providing this service, you are likely willing to use just the Jupyter containers, if at all. If you are into this software level, then at the end of this presentation, I will tell you how to use and access those containers. And if you are a system administrator, for example, or for some reason you want to put this whole thing in your lab, we share that it's everything open here. So this is the schema. You have the containers that use the famous ISIS data and have naturally access to your planetary data. Our service is lying here at jupyter.europlanetgmap.eu. And here it is. It looks like that. As soon as you log in, you start your container. You choose one of the images to do that. You start your container. Hopefully it will start. Let's hope for the best. And then you have this interface here, right? So this is a JupyterLab where you can, for instance, go here to your command line and do some ISIS data processing, and eventually access your your data. Here we have some shared, so all those data shared schema here and nodes here in this figure, they are they represent those data stores here for Martian data, for example, here using the PDS, or some share that we share among users, because users cannot see the other user space, but we put it together let's say a tunnel, so you can share and collaborate live on your data, and your notebooks where your stuff, let's say your work persists. Here, for example, a notebook that I will also share with you later about accessing and doing some mosaicing with Martian data using a tool, Adam tool, that is partnered with GMAP, so to say. And so basically this is our Jupyter Hub. And then you may be asking yourself, now how do I use that? And that's a very fair and expected question. If you want to deploy this thing on your lab, on your computer, if you want to just use that to customize that for your needs, then you can come to this repository here, where basically Giacomo is the main maintainer these days. He did this figure here and is doing the last updates on this containers. So if you want the Jupyter Hub, you come here, you read the documentation that is nice and tight. If you want just the containers, then you can come here, the standalone pictures, standalone images, and follow the instructions, and then you can easily deploy them on your very own premises and or computer, so to say. That's it. Let me see if there was something. Here are just the pages that you have linked in the presentation. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If for, let's say, the latest updates on this presentation or document, then you come on the document here that for example, the image is already ready for you to use. Say, for those that are used to Docker jargon, you can come here to Giacomo Docker Hub and get the latest images directly, which is super cool. That's it for now. If you have questions, please drop in our Discord channel. Otherwise, we see each other again in a few minutes after the Giacomo presentation. Thank you very much.